Good afternoon, guys and girls. TBM Legion. Welcome to a quick off-the-cuff video today I wanted to make about a topic that is very important to me, that I think is very, very worth discussing right now. And I started to talk about this a little while ago, actually. I put up a post. I think I might even have made a video about it. And it was to do with this idea of a negativity echo chamber. All right. So what the hell am I talking about? So in multiple places now within Europe, I'm not sure about what's going on exactly in the States and in other areas, but certainly here in Berlin, where I'm living, okay, we're on lockdown part 2 from Monday. All right. Obviously, coronavirus still very prevalent throughout the rest of Europe. Cases are spiking. France has gone off the scale. The UK cases are going up, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. We've all seen it in the news, and that's exactly what I want to talk about at the moment. Okay. So you may or may not be aware of the term doom scrolling. Okay, which is about as fun as it sounds. Okay, and doom scrolling refers to the concept of absorbing seemingly endless amounts of negative news. It's very, very easy to do at the moment. It's very easy to get caught in this trap, especially because, as most of us are fully aware now, you know, any kind of online platform, whether it's social media, whether it's news outlets, you know, whatever it might be, work according to algorithms. They're feeding us what they think we want to see based on stuff that we've already looked at, stuff that we've searched for, topics that make common appearances in our content. Okay, we're being spoon-fed this stuff, and it is really, really easy to click through one headline or to put in one search term in Google about the rising deaths of coronavirus or the increasing number of cases or what are the lockdown regulations now, whatever it might be, and to end up in this never-ending rabbit warren of negative news. Now, we might not be consciously aware of how much damage that can potentially cause for our mindset. It's a tough time anyway, okay? It's a tough time for many people. Which is the reason that I wanted to put this video together, because I'm genuinely worried about how many people are going to be able to deal effectively with a lockdown part 2 or a prolonged version of whatever lockdown you're already going through. Okay, now that the news is about to take another kind of downward turn, probably in terms of its negative impact. Okay, now, yeah, it's just important to well, I mean, let's start at the beginning. Okay, so, you know, like I say, it's tough times. We need to be doing everything that we can anyway at the moment to keep our mindset on top. Yeah, to keep afloat, to keep that positive energy going as it becomes tougher to keep hold of your job, or to find a job if you've already lost one, or to generate the same amount of income from your business or from the reduced hours that you've got, whatever it might be. Okay, those are very much income based. There's other stuff as well. We're losing our ability to socialize more and more, which is a massive key player in maintaining happiness. Okay, our social relationships, strong social relationships, by the way, are pretty much the biggest indicator of a person's overall happiness. All right, hence the reason why so many people are really struggling with this lockdown situation. All right, it's lots of factors involved there. It's the lack of structure, it's the disruption to the routine, but it's very much down to the lack of social interaction that is getting to most people in the end. I know that from personal relationships of my own, but also with clients. That's been the main battle since the beginning, since this kicked off. Okay, now what's more is that happiness in itself is one of the biggest indicators to personal performance on all levels, whether it's success, personal relationships, health, fitness, you know, communication, the amount of energy that you have. All of these metrics are shown to improve just in the presence of happiness. Right? Positive affectivity is basically the level that somebody is feeling positive, or positively interacting with the things and the people around you. Okay, and in the presence of higher positive affect, people just do better in everything. Now, this is a concept I think people just think was born out of, self-help gurus deciding that positivity was the way forward, and everyone's kind of aware of this concept. Not everybody, but most of us are aware of this concept that the happier you are, the more success you're likely to feel. Happiness breeds happiness. Happiness breeds success. Many of us are aware of this concept. Okay. Not as many of us, I don't think, would be aware that there is actually a huge body of scientific research that backs that up. It's not just a whimsical, feel good, nice to believe in concept. Okay, it's been conclusively shown by hundreds, literally hundreds, possibly thousands now, of scientific research. So what am I getting at? What's the point of what I'm saying? This is not the time to be in a negative spiral of thought. This is the worst time to be dwelling on negative emotions. Now, emotions have a lasting effect, okay? Anybody who's ever, had something really frustrating or an incident that's made you very angry or very upset in a moment, in which the incident is over very quickly, will know from experience that you don't stop feeling that negative emotion as soon as the incident's done. As an example, if you get into an argument with somebody in the supermarket and, that's all done and dusted, 5 minutes later, you're out of the supermarket, you're done with your shopping, you're on the way home. 10 minutes later, you're sat down watching telly with your feet up on the table, and you still, you've come to that realization that you're still feeling angry about that argument that happened, 15 minutes ago, maybe even hours, right? That's because emotions have that lasting effect. And the longer we dwell on an emotion, the longer the effect lasts, okay? And this is a lot of what I do with clients, is talk about reframing emotional states and situations and all of this kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. Well, the point is, emotions have a lasting effect. The more that we dwell on emotions, the more that we engage in activity that stimulates certain emotions, the longer that effect is. What's more, I'm sure everybody also agrees that whatever you practice, you eventually become pretty good at, usually, unless you're just completely void of any talent whatsoever for something. Okay, even those of us that don't have that natural talent for a thing will get better with practice all of the time. All right. So right now, again, and any of the time is not the time to be practicing feeling bad, but right now is the worst time. And just to back up, actually, something that I was saying earlier, I wanted to have a bit of a reference ready if I was going to talk about this. And there was actually a meta-analysis conducted in 2005 called "The Benefits of Frequent Positive Affect. Does Happiness Lead to Success?" Okay, now basically what they did, they took just about every paper, every study that was available at the time on the impact of thinking positively, behaving positively, of positive effect on success. And they did a meta-analysis of all of them. It was more than 200 studies, if I'm right in saying, where they looked at the results of all of them and then came to their own conclusions based on the findings of all of them as a entire body of research, right? And in the abstract for that paper, it says, the results reveal that happiness is associated with and precedes numerous successful outcomes, as well as behaviors paralleling success. Okay, so basically, if you're happy, you tend to be successful. Furthermore, the evidence suggests that positive affect, which it says here as being the hallmark of well-being, may be the cause of many of the desirable characteristics, resources, and successes correlated with happiness. All right, so that's basically saying that they looked at 200 studies, they put together this meta-analysis, they decided what the results of being happy and positive affect were, and it basically is associated with and precedes loads of successful outcomes. Okay, so if you want to be successful, if you want to be happy and you want to be successful, we need to look at ways of avoiding this doom scrolling, okay? this getting caught in rabbit warrens of negative news. Now, I know that one thing that everyone who's watching this will probably start to think is, yeah, but all news is negative. Negative news is everywhere. And I was thinking maybe this is the case as well. So I wanted to put that to the test. Hang on, can I screen share here? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay, yeah, sweet. So, okay, so I've never done this, but let's give it a go. Okay, so hopefully in a second you'll be able to see my screen. And this will be weird, you'll be able to see me to start with. But I'm going to hopefully show... Oh no, it's gone strange. Hang on. Oh, let's try this. Okay, give me that. Try it again. Total newbie at screen share. All right, it's not going to work. But anyway, I Googled, I was thinking a common search term that's probably coming up millions of times at the moment is something like number deaths coronavirus. So that's got to be a typical one that people are putting in. Everyone's interested to know, like, what's the death toll or something along those lines. Maybe it's number of rising cases coronavirus or whatever. Now, clearly, nothing positive is going to come up as a result of that. Now, that's fine. You're looking to find the statistics of things that are important at the moment. And I'm not saying avoid bad news at all costs. And I'll come on to that in a second. Okay, what I am saying is, for those people that would argue all news is bad news and bad news is everywhere, you know, just as a test, I switched some of the words around in that sentence. Instead of number of deaths coronavirus, I put number of survivors cancer. And that came up with a snippet at the top of my Google search, which was quite uplifting. I read it and it says, so this is from the cancercontrol.cancer.gov website. And, you know, without me, you know, just 3-word search, and it came up with, as of January 2019, it's estimated that there are 16.9 million cancer survivors in the United States. This represents approximately 5% of the population. Okay, I mean, that's good. There's lots of cancer survivors. Would be better if no one obviously had cancer. But then it goes on to say the number of cancer survivors is projected to increase by 29.1% by 2029. That's amazing. They are forecasting, whoever they are, the health professionals when it comes to cancer, that the number of people that survive cancer in the US is going to increase by nearly 30% within the next 10 years. That's awesome. So I scrolled down the page a little bit further, and about 5 search results down, there was a nice looking headline by Science Daily. Cancer survivors predicted a number over 22 million by 2030. I thought, I'll have a look at that and let's see where it leads to. Let's see if I can get myself down a rabbit warren of positive news, just to see if it would bring me back onto stuff that was more negative, or if it would keep me in this kind of positive train. So I went onto the Science Daily website, I had a little look. Ooh, and it's talking about what I expected it to talk about, but that wasn't really what I was interested in. What I was interested in was what else it would suggest to me, right? So over on the right-hand side of that page, there's a most popular tab. And admittedly, the first one, the first headline below that was suggesting I might also be interested to read, says 80% of COVID patients have a vitamin D deficiency. I don't know if that's really negative or positive. That's kind of neutral, to be honest. But the one underneath that was aspirin use reduces risk of death in hospitalized COVID-19 patients. Well, that's a plus. Okay, that's quite a positive one. So I was thinking, okay, not all news is bad. That's at least one. And then there's another one under that. It says turbulent era sparked leap in human behavior adaptability 320,000 years ago. Talking about a spark in human adaptability 320,000 years ago, thanks to whatever it was that came about at that time. So not all news is bad news. You know, we just are getting spoon-fed very violently, I would say, realms of bad news. We don't want to get sucked into that. So coming back to what I said before, I'm not suggesting that we all just avoid bad news. There's clearly stuff we want to read about that's important, that is a bit negative. But just bear in mind that the more negative news you absorb, the more negative emotions you're going to feel, the longer that lasting effect is going to be. The effect of negativity is detrimental for human performance across the board: fitness, health, work, social relationships, communication, energy levels, mood, enthusiasm, optimism, etc., okay, across the board, all of those metrics detrimentally affected by negativity. Right, so take the time to avoid a bit of doom scrolling. If you're gonna have to look up some kind of research, if you're delving through headlines that are giving you that negative emotion, consciously be aware of it. Consciously try to offset it with some positive news as well. Find a nice story for every bad one that you read, okay, or even two, because there is some research also that shows that for every I can't remember exactly where I read this, maybe I'll reference it later, but it's something like, there was one study that showed that for every negative incident that occurred for a person, it took 3 positive incidents to offset the negative emotion that came from the negative one, right? So basically 3-to-1 ratio. All right, find 3 nice, positive, promising, uplifting, optimistic articles for every 1 negative one that you fill your boots with. All right, that's all for today, guys. Okay, I really honestly think that doom scrolling is going to be the thing that breaks people's mindset during this tough time, more than anything else out there. So be aware of it. Try to avoid it where you can. Absorb the bad news. Make sure you look for the good news. Stay strong. Remember that you're probably a leader for at least one person around you, even if you're not trying to be a leader. Okay, there'll be somebody in your social network, in your family, probably junior to you, who looks up to you, who respects you. We've got to be strong for these people during this time. All right, we've got to set a good example, lead by example, look after the family, support your loved ones, and all of that good stuff. Even if you're not doing it for you, do it for the community. Theseus Body and Mind Legion, you guys have been amazing as per usual. If you've got any comments about this, any questions at all, feel free to comment even after the video's gone live. I'll go back and check them all out. Feel free to message me about anything that you want to. Yeah, most importantly, have an awesome day. I'll catch you all soon.